Statue of Unity was just an idea before it got executed, and has now become a revenue generation model. Last year, 29 lakh tourists were a part of the Statue of Unity. They visited the statue, which generated 82.9 CR for a year.
Namaste everyone. Welcome to Citti Media. This is your host Sharan Sethi. Today we have with us Advocate Kunal Sharma, who practices in the Gujarat High Court, and he also runs an organization, a socio organization called Gujarat Chapter Sansad, which has done a phenomenal job during the pandemic in the first wave and the second wave. Kunalji, thank you so much for joining us. Namaste.
Namaste, Sharan. Thank you for inviting me.
How are you, Kunalji?
I'm doing good, Sharan. I hope things are well on your end.
It's very good too. Thank you for asking. Kunalji, shooting right into the first question. Gujarat has managed to vaccinate numbers ahead of many other states. They've set a record compared to different other states which are trying to build its own models, so to speak. So how has Gujarat been able to manage this? Could you give us your insights into this?
So let's talk about Gujarat and understand what Gujarat as a state looks like. The population of Gujarat above 18 years is almost 4.95 crores, out of which 28.5% of the population above 18 years has been vaccinated with the first dose. And around 8.1% of the population has been vaccinated with both their doses. So these are some actual numbers. I may be wrong on the numbers because it's difficult to get the exact numbers. It is difficult to get exact numbers of any state which you call it. But when you talk about Gujarat, what we have experienced here in Gujarat is that there are a lot of other things which are benefiting the citizens of Gujarat. Gujarat, because I have been born and brought up in Gujarat, and we understand that this is a state where people, they accept the rules and regulations which are given by the government. And there are a lot of non-profit organizations who have been working since the inception of the state, and with the efforts of the government, with the efforts of the non-profit organizations, with the efforts of individuals who have been following all the guidelines given, all the protocols given by the state government. We have been able to vaccinate a lot of people in Gujarat. Because of that, we ourselves, the organization which you just introduced me with, Chhatra Sansad, has two of their centers. We have been vaccinating 1,200 people every day. It's been more than 2 months. So things are going really well. I heard news about different states where vaccines are getting wasted. Like there are jabs, there are vaccines which are getting vaccinated. People are not going to the vaccination centers. So I think this is something which is not really happening in Gujarat, and that is maybe the reason why Gujarat is ahead of a lot of other major states.
Right. Thank you for those insights. Now, what is being observed during the pandemic is that the economy has actually suffered a blow, and this also means that several of the states have its own policies, have its own schemes, and have its own form of governance. Right? Some may be socialistic, some may be not. So, in that sense, a lot of the per capita income and the GDP has been decreasing. Now, one of the biggest dependency, for example, in states like Karnataka, is on the alcohol revenue, and the revenue department is very focused on this. And even the state's treasury actually, is hugely dependent on the revenue that we get from alcohol and other sources. How is Gujarat able to manage that? How is it been ahead of the curve compared to other states, in spite of a ban on alcohol?
So this is the very first time I'm going to speak about liquor prohibition on a public platform. I've never spoken, I've never shared my opinion on this before. But as we all know, Mahatma Gandhi was born in Gujarat, and it is basically the prohibition is not really a brainchild of our honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is the advocacy of Mahatma Gandhi, and a lot of people don't really understand why Gujarat is known as a dry state. There are a lot of pros, there are a lot of cons of Gujarat being a dry state, but then a lot of people who doesn't really know why exactly Gujarat has been a dry state. So I'll just give you a little understanding of why exactly this happened. When we all understand during the Britishers' time, Mahatma Gandhi went village to village, inspiring people not to drink because India has already wasted a dynasty during that time in drinking, and that is what the Britishers took the benefit of. And that is the reason why Mahatma Gandhi went door to door, village to village, promoting that we should not drink and we should be active and aggressive to get ourselves independence. So that was one of the reasons why Mahatma Gandhi promoted the prohibition. And I think if we talk about the 21st century, liquor is known as a form of entertainment to a lot of young people. And when we talk about other states who are completely dependent on liquor, and why Gujarat is not dependent on liquor, I remember our chief minister, he sent an application to the 15th Finance Commission that Gujarat is losing on 9,600 crores annually because of the prohibition on liquor, and that is something which Gujarat can start working on. So the government also understands that the revenue which comes to the particular state is almost, as you just rightly mentioned, Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has they got around 21,600 crores annually in their kitty because of the liquor, and they do not have a ban. So Gujarat and Bihar are facing some major losses. But I think when you talk about Gujarat and Gujaratis, every second home of Gujarat comes up with a new business. So Gujarat is never known for service class people. They have always known for people who have initiated businesses, and this is a hub of business. There are corridors which are made and which are built by the government. It's been around 25 years. Gujarat has been really doing well on that front. So we have Gujarat has different ideas, different platforms through which they've been able to generate more revenue, and that is the reason they are not really dependent on liquor. But what I personally believe and what I strongly believe is if Gujarat gets the prohibition out of the line, and if Gujarat does not really remain a dry state, I think Gujarat can perform much, much better, because there are a lot of industries who do not really come to Gujarat just because of this particular reason. And if I believe this is of 9,000 crores, so Gujarat is one of the highest liquor consuming states, as you might know, even after the ban, even after the prohibition. So I think there's a lot of corruption which is happening. There are people who are dying because of liquor, because of fake liquor. When we go around villages, when we talk to people there, see, I believe that this has become a crime in Gujarat. If you are drinking, this has become a crime. And when you go just 300 kilometers away from Gujarat, you talk about Maharashtra, you talk about Madhya Pradesh, you talk about Rajasthan, the governments are earning out of it. And when we talk the governments, why do governments earn out of liquor? It's because they understand people who can afford entertainment are the people who can run the particular state. So that is the reason why they put on the excise duty, they put on the taxes on that liquor front, and they generate revenue out of it. Gujarat, being a very cultural state, I'm sure I must really appreciate the efforts done by the government. And this is a really safe state, especially for women. When I talk about my own city, Baroda, this has been one of the safest city for women. Our mothers, our daughters, they can walk on the roads even at 2 o'clock in the night. And that is, I believe, one of the reasons why prohibition has really helped Gujarat. But I think our police is really commendable. They are up for that job if the prohibition is out of that. But I think this is a vote game after all. You talk about the vote banks who do not really support liquor. So this is a very long story. But yes, Gujarat has been really strong on the other revenue generation models, and that is the reason they have been able to sustain compared to the other states.
Right. Kunal, that brings me to another question. Modernization of infrastructure in Gujarat has actually been spellbound, right? It's crossed a lot of verticals, and especially if we look at Sardar Patel Statue of Unity, and now modernization of the Sabarmati banks, and now there are plans to even make Sabarmati Ashram a world-class destination so that it can bring in a lot of revenue. What are your views on this?
Well, I've always been of the opinion that our history should always be cherished, and our generation deserves to know what the legends of our country have done before, and what the government has done is something which is really nice. And why nice? I think a lot of people have some really different thoughts about the Statue of Unity. That why has the Honorable Prime Minister put in 3,000 crores for a statue? But if an idea is a revenue generation model for a state, I think this is something which every government should start doing. Statue of Unity was just an idea before it got executed, and has now become a revenue generation model. Last year, 29 lakh tourists were a part of the Statue of Unity. They visited the statue, which generated 82.9 cr for a year. So I think they are towards the right direction, and I strongly believe that the history should be known. Young people should be aware about our history, and this is one nice way how histories can be written, how we can make young people aware about the histories. I'm sure there are a lot of other things, and talking about Statue of Unity, it is just 40 kilometers from where I stay, and we have personally seen how Statue of Unity has been built, what the major attractions are, and people are coming from different states like Karnataka, like Andhra Pradesh. We have people coming in from Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, just to visit that statue. So I think history has been written now.
Right. It's very beautifully answered. This brings me to my last question, going slightly off topic, but something that's been in the news very recently. After India hockey team's spectacular performance in the Tokyo Olympics, the government took a very, very important decision, and they renamed Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award into Major Dhyan Chand's name. What are your views on this?
So I was really pissed off by the way people have been commenting on this particular issue. But let me get everyone's attention to one topic first. Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna. We should understand first why was it named after Rajiv Gandhi. Rajiv Gandhi was a prime minister which led a very young India to the 21st century. He supported sports, he supported youth like no one else could. And that was the reason why Rajiv Gandhi was given a name behind this particular sports award. But I strongly believe that sports awards, like compared with other countries, should be given after the legends who have brought laurels to our country through sports. That is something, this was a very right decision. And I think this was not really the right time. 2014 was the right time to take this decision, where you start out with a decision which is inspiring and motivating a lot of young people to get into hockey and politics. And I would like to congratulate each and every Indian through your platform. Neeraj Chopra has just gotten gold for us. So this is a very proud moment for all of us. And yeah, again, coming back to that topic, uh, so Dhyan Chand Award, this is the second award which is in his name. So Ministry of Youth and Sports, Youth Affairs and Sports, given these awards. And there is also one more award in the name of Major Dhyan Chand, where this is called as Dhyan Chand Achievers Award, which is given a reward of rupees 5 lakh. I think this award which you're talking about is given a reward of 25 lakhs. So now there are we have two awards in the name of Dhyan Chand, and I believe there are other sportsmen whom we can use with their names so that we can inspire more and more young people to get into sports and win more medals for our country.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm sure our viewers will find a lot of your insights very interesting. Thank you, Kunalji. Thank you for taking the time out to join Citti Media. Namaste.
Thank you, Sharan. Namaste. Thank you for inviting me.
And to all of our viewers, please do like, share, and subscribe. This is your host, Sharan Citti, signing off. Namaste.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.